Hello and welcome back to the Her Life BLOGCAST. Hi, girls.
Hello.
This is like straight up deja vu, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. But first, I'd like to start with a little PSA for all the listeners. If you are recording things on Zoom and you mess up and you stop the recording and you start a new recording, the second recording doesn't save. We learned that the hard way last week when we were doing our two-parter, which we like a two-parter here at Her Life, but you got to do a separate meeting. So yeah, I have like 1 minute from the beginning of an episode we tried to do, and then we were like, this sucks, let's just start over, and that's all I have. So we are hitting it again, but I think it was a good episode last time. It's gonna be a good episode this time. I'm excited to take another crack at it, ladies. Also, big update that's like uploading as we speak. We're on YouTube now, girls.
Woo! I'm so excited.
Yeah, we've always been recording like the visual as well as the audio. I've only ever used the audio before when we're publishing, but I was like, when I was trying desperately to find that audio file from the last episode, I came across like all these videos that we had just like stocked up in my Zoom, and I was like, let's show the people, let's do a behind the scenes. So the YouTube is going to work as a behind the scenes, unedited, like none of the edits I make for the podcast will be on there. It's just like the raw footage, and that sounds very cool. I want to give you guys the inside look, but mostly it's because I don't know how to edit video. I will work on that and get better videos to you guys, but I just don't know how to do that yet. So I'm working with Kay. Actually, Kay's going to help me out on that. Shout out to Kay Kirkwood. We love you, girl. Happy birthday, by the way, Kay.
Yes, happy birthday, Kay.
Yeah, so YouTube is up and running. We have some IGTV. We're going to do that every week now with little clips because, like, we have a lot of these good little snippets that, like, I want more people to see. So, anyway, lots of things moving and grooving this week. I'm excited about it. But let's get into today's episode. So just to kind of remind you guys what we're going to be talking about, this is our Hello Postgrad Part 2. So we're going to be doing a lot more celebration, a lot more reflection. That's totally the vibe. I really loved Part 1. I thought it was like so, I don't know, I just loved re-listening to it. I think it's going to be a cool thing to look back on. And then at the end, like later portion of this episode, we're bringing back BAB of the Week, which is a segment we haven't done since like the first episode, but I think it's a really good one.
Below Deck Sandy.
Below Deck Captain Sandy, which by the way, Below Deck Med is coming back on June 1st. So Captain Sandy, Hannah's going to be back. So this is like big. Anyway, BAB Alexa Schoen is going to be at the end of this episode. She's going to be on talking about her new book, #EntryLevelBoss. So it's just like a good episode. So I'm excited to dive in for the second time, but don't worry, it's going to be just as good. Let's just dive right in, ladies. So I want to talk about this recent college graduation that we just had and compare it to high school graduation. Are the feelings you had similar? Is it completely different? Let's talk it out. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Usually me and Emma duke it out. Yeah, I definitely was more sad and sentimental for graduating from Fordham as opposed to high school. High school, I was very much, let's get out of here. It wasn't really like I was sad to leave. I was like over everything. And yeah, I was nervous about going to college and like all those nerves that come with it. But I was, Fordham became a second home. You're living with people. It's a whole different environment, and it's just sentimental. You make such good memories and lifelong besties. So it's just a different feeling and definitely more sentimental, nostalgic this time around. So
totally. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't remember being sad. Like I remember seeing other girls cry at high school graduation and being like, what? Like, what's that feeling? I don't get that. I was very excited to get to New York and to just like start a new thing. I was very over. Yeah, senior year was not great in high school. So it was good to like on to bigger and better. And this time I didn't feel that way. I mean, I kind of felt that way because it's exciting, but like very sad to leave. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just going to be hard getting used to not going back there and like having that home feeling, What about you, Em?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I definitely have to agree with that. I was honestly more worried about falling on my face because I was wearing heels, and let's face it, people, I don't wear heels. And literally everybody's just staring at you. And mine wasn't at a hockey arena, which is weird too. So that's like another story, right? Isn't that?
Did you walk on ice?
I know. I don't know how, honestly, it happened, but it was at a hockey arena for some reason. Usually it was at our community college, but this year it's called Menon Arena, where they play hockey. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I was so ready to just get out of there because senior year was dramatic as hell. So it was time to get out of there.
Yeah. I think we're all like on the same page there, and I think it made college all the better. Like it made Fordham all the better experience because like it's good. Not that I didn't like high school, but like comparatively, like I don't know. If we're gonna compare, like college is better. But okay, so now I want to talk because we talked last week about how we were all had kind of unconventional graduations. So I want to talk about how we celebrated anyway. You know, like how did you find the silver lining? I'll kick us off for this. We had, and if you follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, I was like really posting it up because my family threw like my family threw like a farm commencement and we had like a drive-in kind of ceremony and it was really cute. We set up a ladder covered in a tablecloth. That was my podium and I like gave a little speech. My mom talked, my dad gave a toast. Like it was just really cute and everyone came and like decorated their cars. And then we got a nice dinner afterwards, like just my family. It was just really nice and like heartwarming, and it was a beautiful day. Like it really just was a nice day. So all things considered, and the
you
virtual.
Gave a beautiful speech.
Thank you. And my FaceTime did. It was so cute. I was like, Julia, can you do it? I had my cousin do it because I was like, I don't know how to hold you. Like that would just be weird. Like here's Emma. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know. The virtual ceremony, though, also, we all watched that. Like, that was beautiful. I thought they did a really great job with that. Father Mick with those bars, like, he was hitting that song.
Oh,
it got me
about
right.
Eddie's.
I know, with Eddie's, I was like, I'm already sobbing.
Like, he's straight up, like, okay, to set the scene, he was literally singing, I guess, a hymn that already exists, but then did he, like, write his own verse about Fordham? Like, it was so beautiful.
It came out of nowhere, though, so I was not prepared, but
None of us were
so
expecting
good.
it. It was absolutely beautiful, like, tears in the eye. Like, it was beautiful. Oh, yeah, Father Mick. He was my neighbor, guys. He lived on the second floor, came with me. Oh, Father Mick. I had to email him. Nice so sweet. And the beard now. I was like, you go, Father Mick. Like, go off. I loved it. I loved it. That was his moment. Like, he really commanded the stage. I can't say enough good things about Father Mick in this song. I loved it. But anyway, Hannah, how did you celebrate on Saturday? What did you guys do?
I got up a little earlier. I did my hair. I did my makeup. I got dressed, like a nice dress, like one that I'd never worn before.
You looked hot. Just like, let me just say, for the record, you looked gorgeous, and like I ain't the only one who thinks so. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. That's all
I'm gonna say. Yeah, no, geez, I lost my train of thought now.
That backstory is coming up on the Corona No Rules episode, which will be out probably like end of June, but we'll get to it. Okay, Hannah, sorry. So you're dressed up, you look gorgeous, then what?
Yeah, because I just wanted to have the mindset that I was graduating to make it feel like the day, sort of. And then I came downstairs and I got all the computer set up, which I low-key had a panic attack because I couldn't find the link, and it was like 10 o'clock, and I was like, oh my God, like, where's this link? It wasn't coming up for some reason. I was like, I'm going to miss my virtual commencement. There was a like sheer panic for like 5 seconds, and then we eventually got it. And so, yeah, my grandma, mom and dad, my dog, in her Fordham collar came. We were all just sitting on the couch watching. I stood up when, everyone else, they're like, okay, Dean of Fordham College Rose Hill, like, you can go, how she, like, said all that. Mm-hmm. So we went through the motions, and it was really nice. It was a very good ceremony. My parents kept cracking jokes. They're like, this is great. Like, now we don't have to fight for parking or, like, leave, like, early, and we're not sitting in the sun. So, I guess there's some plus sides.
It's true.
Yeah, so we did that. It was a beautiful day, like you said. So we sat outside. We had cake later on. My mom grilled some steaks, and we had some potato. It was like a really nice dinner. So, yeah, it was just that, like, Zoomed with my brothers who couldn't be here, but it was, it was pretty good for the day that it was, not being in person.
Yeah, making the most of it.
Sorry, I was so long-winded. Jeez.
Oh my God, don't be sorry. This is an important day. I wanted to hear it all. Emma, how about you? Like, throwing it back to last year, how'd you celebrate?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it's already like last year already. But so similar to you guys, unconventional graduation. Graduated in Bepler, part of Loyola, whole Fordham, whatever thing. So we wound up going to Enzo's. I had pasta, obviously. Duh, right? But I can like vividly remember a moment and about our friend Kevin Berger, who has been on the podcast, BLOGCAST.
Friend of the show.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Right. Kevin, I know you're listening, so I've never talked to you about this, but you were literally like the only friend that I saw that day, which was really nice and kind of special because it felt like I was celebrating with like my friends and family. No, but like we were walking down Eddie's, and all of a sudden I see like a head pop up, and like your quintessential like raise of the hand, like hello, and I was like, oh, hello, Kevin, like hi, and he's like, oh, congratulations. So yeah, that was like special to kind of just have to share that moment, even though
Yeah.
we weren't able to kind of do it in that bigger crowd. So, but yeah, I would
That's
say
so
that was
nice. I
All
feel like
about the little
Kevin's,
things. And
yeah,
Exactly.
Kevin's just a good guy to like witness a big moment. Like, I don't know, and he's just gonna be so thrilled to like know that I can picture it. Like, Kevin,
But it was
what a
like
good
so
guy.
chill because it was just like, oh, hi.
Oh, hey, happy graduation. Oh, that's so
That's
sweet.
funny
We love
because
Kevin.
I'll never forget the one time, real quick, I saw him. I went kayaking in the
Oh,
Hudson
yeah,
in the
yeah.
city, and I was on the Upper West Side, and I like ran into him randomly, and I was just like, oh my God, Kevin. I like took a selfie and I like sent it to you guys, and I was just like, this is so
I
funny.
remember
Like,
that.
what are the odds?
He's just a good guy to
Yeah,
bump into. We love Kevin. Oh, so good. I'm
yes.
excited to have, we're actually going to hear from Kevin relatively soon. I'm recording with him later on this week for an episode coming up in June about pursuing your passions. And we're going to do, I don't know, just like a whole deep dive on that, which I think will be super fun. I'm just excited. I love talking to Kevin. He always makes me think and like challenges me. It's just like, it's going to be a good vibe. So I'm excited about that. So I'm glad we got that Kevin, little segment in. Okay, so moving on now, I want to talk with Fordham now being in the rear view. Let's look back. I want to, talk about what we're going to miss a lot and then what we're not going to miss so much. We'll start with what we're going to miss. And I will say, like, I did the outline first. Like, I filled in my segments before you guys got on. And I was thinking like very lighthearted, like, and then you guys put in these really like sentimental, beautiful answers. And I literally responded, what will you miss the most about Fordham? Rachel, the basketball team. Literally. But
But
I was
it has
thinking about
shaped
it.
you into who you are today.
I think like,
I agree.
and I'm so conflicted because I hate to like boost up the ego of the Fordham men's basketball team anymore. But there's something about those guys, and there's a couple of things that I think it represents for me as a person. So number one, I think I respect them a lot because of their delusional confidence. They're not the best basketball team. I think that's not a hot take. Like, they just haven't really gotten it together in the time we were there. There was a time when the Rams were a great basketball team, and we're just not there right now. And that's okay, because that builds character, and it's good for other reasons, and we support them and we love them regardless. However, they carry themselves with the energy that they are gods on this planet. And I just think that's an admirable thing. It's questionable. It may be like cocky, yes, but like, I don't know. I think we all have something to learn from that level of just like fake it till you make it, because we all believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something about that team. Also, quick anecdote. I was on, I think I told you guys this before. I was on the phone with like a Hinge date. We had a phone call Hinge date. This was a couple weeks ago. And he was like, tell me more about Fordham. Like, I want to hear about like the culture of the school and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I can tell that like you have a really great basketball team. You guys talk about them a lot on the podcast. And I was like, I was like, first of all, thank you for listening. Like, we appreciate it. But also, like, they're bad. Like, their records are not great. And he's like, wow, I'm shocked to hear, like, the way you talk about them is like they are the big men on campus. I was like, well, they've convinced us all. They've convinced themselves. They convinced us. And I'm going to miss that energy. That's point number one I wanted to make. And very quickly, number two, I don't know. I'm just like, the basketball team represents, I don't know how to explain this without being like weird, but it's just like, am I in love with the basketball team? No. But is the basketball team in love with me? Maybe. And that feels good. I'm going to cap it there.
The answer is yes, people. The answer is yes, okay?
I don't know.
100%.
Like, there may be like
Ever
one or
since
two.
the summer.
I think like it also symbolizes your personal growth for the year, because Rachel that I met last year is a very different person than the Rachel this year.
It's true.
And not in a bad way. It's just like you've grown. And
yeah. And I think if I wasn't in such close proximity to the boys on that team, the men on that team, like, I don't know if I'd be this girl. And I miss it dearly. I hate quarantine.
To give you context, people, Rach, you lived with them in the summer and you lived with them senior year, so you kind of like grew up with them.
Yeah, I planted the seeds in the summertime, when I was just the RA, and then it was like, ooh, what's that RA all about? I don't know. Like, I think interests were piqued on both ends. And I'm not mad about it. So shout out to the men's basketball team. I feel very comfortable talking openly because I know for a fact that none of them are listening to this, and that's okay. If they are, if you are, like, you will rise to number 1 on the list real quick if you just hit my line and say that you heard me talk about this. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna miss about Fordham. But I think I take some of them with me. What about you guys? Emma, we'll start with you. What have you missed most about Fordham?
Honestly, it's just like the hustle and bustle of being a student. You kind of forget how active you are, whether it's like waking up early for practice or something like that, or for RA and then practice again. But then you also have classes and you have research to do. It's like a very jam-packed day, but you also have like a lot of flexibility within that schedule. I don't know, like just now, like working for like a business, it's just like you're always on the computer. You're really just only on your computer, honestly. But I just miss being kind of like active like that and kind of passing by, having lunch with you guys. So just like that routine of being very, very busy, I really do miss. And of course, just like the wholesome moments I have with you guys and like the RHO or something like that, or the office, or just like the small moments you kind of like look back on. You're like, wow, those were quite meaningful. And then lastly, probably the free air quote laundry. I mean, how can you go wrong?
So true.
Free.
And nice machines. They're relatively new.
Like, Dyson. What the heck?
Yeah. Shout out to Dyson. I love it. No, that's so true. And I think what you said about like moments that you don't even know are moments until you're looking back, and like what felt so normal and everyday are the things you're going to miss the most. Oof. Put that in a greeting card. Like, I feel it in my soul. I totally feel that. Good answer. Yes. Hannah, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to miss living amongst a community of people my age, my friends, and that's become very clear in quarantine. It's very different. My jokes fall flat a lot of the time. The references are just not there. But like you said, Emma, like walking around on campus, you're bound to run into people you know, and even if they're just acquaintances, it makes like a nice walk and takes 5 minutes out of your day to just like connect with somebody. I also really love the gym and the workout classes. I'm really going to miss kickboxing. Carmen, if you're listening, you had a fantastic class. I love it so much.
That's a great killer
just
class.
Like it really is. It was fantastic. Best one. All the on-campus events, you know, just walking around and running into, you know, if you had the chance, I was my goal this year to do Java with Jesuits, but I never did. I never got to because I think my internship. Yeah, but
Java with the Jesuits. Oh my gosh, that's a whole segment.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll do a whole segment on it, led by Emma.
Did you ever do it, Emma?
Like
I went every Thursday after practice.
That's
they were always waiting for us right out of the van. We would literally be like, "Oh my gosh, they're here! What kind of cookies did he make this time? Oh, orange with chocolate chips. Yes. Oh my gosh, we were their best customers.
That's
every
so
Thursday,
cute.
right outside of McGinley.
Yeah.
I have a sticker from them.
They seem really nice, and that's one of the things
they're so sweet. They're so sweet too. Okay, I'm sorry. Enough of that.
No, you're
Don't
fine.
be sorry.
You're fine.
That's awesome.
And I was just gonna say, yeah, just like all the things Fordham, and of course bingo. You know, like I love a good bingo.
You love a bingo,
and you did bomb at bingo too.
I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I did.
She's not gonna lie.
I broke
She's
up some friendships over it, but
you won literally every time.
Worth it.
Not every time, but more times than not. Let's say.
Exactly.
I'm kidding.
We'll find you some like online bingo to get into real soon. Like you're going through withdrawal.
Like a gambler or something. Becomes gambler after this.
I love it. Oh, gambling addiction. If you have a gambling addiction, call 1-800. Okay. Now moving on. What won't you miss at all about Fordham? Like, let's cheer it up a little. Like, what are you, sayonara, good riddance, not going to miss you? I'll tell you my answer. It's very simple. FMH, more specifically, the up-down nonsense of the staircases at FMH. It riled me up when people disrespected those rules. It made me feel like a dweeb because I always respected the up-down. Like, I don't know. It created a lot of anxiety, and I didn't like it. Also, it's always hot in there. Like, I'm not going to miss FMH.
And you always have to tap in.
I know. I get that though, because it's like off campus. Like, I get it, but it's annoying. There's always bottlenecks. I just
Also, like 40 people in a classroom that should have probably like 25 max, and you're like on top of each other with a winter coat. Forget about it. It was the worst.
I know. And then
My
like if you're
classroom had a vine growing in it.
What? A vine? Like a real vine?
I had like a literal vine.
Oh what?
Like green and everything. Yeah.
A green vine. Oh my god.
It was like Jumanji.
No, I get.
Guys, have you ever? I'm sorry. This is.
God, what?
I'm sorry. This is a tangent, but did you guys see Jumanji 2? Like
yes,
Jumanji?
it's so funny.
It's so good. Not the second Jumanji within
With
that
Nick
series.
Jonas?
Yes, the first one is so good. It was
really
so
funny.
Good. Yeah, it's really funny.
I highly recommend.
Not the second one within that series though. That one was bad. The first one was good.
It was hysterical.
Wow, I never even considered watching that.
I think you should.
I agree. I second that.
Okay, fine. Agree. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Okay. Well, Jumanji, FMH. Glad we got that in there. What else have you guys, like, are you guys glad to have parted with about Fordham?
I can go. It's the frickin' parking garage. I don't know what it is, but I've always had a problem with it. I try to visit you guys. Okay, maybe this is just like a thing that I just don't like about Fordham, not what I won't miss, but I'll get to that. Okay, anyways, every time I try to visit you guys, the lady won't let me in, like won't even let me into the university. Even though I said I'm going to park my car and I'll be happy to pay, she's like, no. And I'm very confused by that. And every time I see her, I swear she got my car or something like that. I don't know. It's just, I don't like it.
I know exactly who you're talking about too.
Yes.
I was in the car with my brother's girlfriend one time, and she was like, I'm dropping her off. She's like, but where are you going? Like, are you actually a student? I was like, yes, like I have my ID.
And then I asked my dad, and he's like, yeah, I drove right in. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that I have to say. Like, you could be any, like, middle-aged guy going in there, and all you have to be is like, my daughter goes here, and they'll just let you in. Like, I get that it's good when it actually is your dad, but like anybody could get in there if you just say you're a dad. I assume the same happens with moms. Well, like my dad's just like, I'm the dad, and they're like, go right in, sir. And it's like, how do you prove that you're the dad? I'm just saying, could be a potential issue. Not gonna miss that. Okay. Sorry, this is like getting weird. Anyway, what else?
I'm definitely not gonna miss weekends of work.
Okay.
Weekends work. I'm sorry.
It's totally fine. I know what you mean. Just say it again. Start over.
So much work. Yeah. Okay.
Start from the beginning so I can edit it. Just be like, I'm definitely gonna miss. Like, say it all.
Okay. I'm definitely not gonna miss having a weekend's worth of work.
Yeah.
I would definitely happy to have my weekends back and not be like Sunday nights. Sunday scaries may have a different meaning in adulthood, but definitely not like, I have a final tomorrow that I didn't study for. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Also not. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry. While we're on this tangent, like what you were saying reminded me, I'm also definitely not going to miss weekend duties as an RA, being on for 24 hours on call. Like that is something I'm like so thrilled to be done with, and I'm not going to miss that in this life. There's things I'm going to miss about being an RA, but X to the duty shifts, like I'm so done with that.
So done, especially the last time when anyway, that's another story. But also not going to miss not having AC. Putting up with that for 2 years or 3 years was far too much.
Yeah.
And I would love to not have to wake up and sweat.
Yeah, that's so nice. Simple pleasures, man. Just like not being sweaty when you wake. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
Those are good answers. Yeah. So we are moving on to bigger and better in a lot of ways. So it's important to remind each other of that. But overall, we still love Fordham, like Fordham rocks. Okay. Moving on. Yep, go Rams. So moving on. I want to talk a little bit about post-grad resolutions. I think, we talk a lot about New Year's resolutions. trying to like set a goal for yourself and become a better version of yourself. And I think this is a perfect time to do that as well. I always do new school year resolutions, New Year resolutions, and now a little post-grad resolution. So yeah, anything come to mind? I can start us off if you guys want. I'll just start because it gets weird when I ask. No one knows who to go. I'll start. My post-grad resolution has a lot to do with social media. I struggle, especially now since quarantine has been a thing, I've struggled a lot with social media. Like, should I have it? Should I not? When should I be posting? First of all, I give myself a lot of anxiety about like what I should be posting and when, and if I'm like posting the cool right thing. Also, like stalking people that I maybe shouldn't, like maybe it's not the healthiest thing to like stalk this boy. So I've been doing a lot of that post quarantine and it's not great. So I'm trying to like restructure those habits into something that brings me joy, because I think ultimately like Instagram genuinely does bring me joy. I love it a lot and there's a lot of positivity that can come from it. So I think for me, it's just making like a conscious effort to follow people who inspire me and unfollow people who bring me down in any way. And also just freeing myself up to like, I don't know, give myself permission not to follow a person, not because I don't like them or blah, 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 but just like, I don't know, there's no obligation anymore, I guess, to follow people just because there's a Fordham connection or whatever. And I think to just free myself up, like, I don't know, I just think it's going to be a positive thing for me. It's just to re-establish my Instagram, I guess. Does that make sense?
I love that for you. No, it does.
Yeah.
Why follow people that don't have any impact on you? Or sometimes you just like meet at a party, you're like, oh my God, like, let's follow each other.
Right.
And then you're like, who even is this person? Or
Totally.
they're just mean and you don't want them in your life.
Right. So I just think it's going to be a nice like refresher. This is a good time to like reassess, go through my feed and figure out like who do I really want to be there. And I encourage everybody to do the same because I think it's just good to check in with yourself on that too. That's my resolution. And yeah, I'm just trying, I think it's like I said, especially now in quarantine, there's a lot of time to just be like scrolling mindlessly. And I think that can have a lot of negative side effects if you let it. So I'm trying not to let it. Some days are better than others, but like that's the name of the game. We're just getting through it. So
that's just quarantine, honey.
I know. Yeah, that's true.
In a nutshell.
That's true. That's true.
Mine kind of piggybacks off yours, right?
Yeah, hit me.
So I guess like going into the summer of 2019 last year, I was definitely like in denial of graduating, or that I had graduated. Especially since like being friends with you guys, I thought I was literally going to go back to RA training in August. And I think going back to your point, Rachel, about social media, like at the end of the summer, I saw everybody kind of going back into the city and realizing, oh, they're moving into their apartments, they're starting their big girl jobs, etc. And here I was like living at home in New Jersey. And so I was definitely feeling bad about myself, which I had to like get that out of my head because I was doing nothing to kind of like help myself. And so my resolution was kind of just to like say to myself that there's literally no timeline after post-grad, which is, I guess, a realization too, because prior to graduating, you kind of always had that goal to graduate, right? So I guess now it was like understanding that there is no concrete timeline of when you have to say get a job, etc. And that kind of calmed my nerves with everything. So yeah, I guess that was my big resolution for myself, was just like put pressure off myself and kind of just go at my own pace. And I suggest you guys do the same as well. Just kind of like trust yourself and that it will happen.
Yeah, it's been really cool to like kind of watch you go through that, because I think I learned so much just through and how open you were about how you were feeling and how things were going, and now how you've arrived at a place that's so just accepting and like excited about the future, and like it obviously worked out really well for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in a good place, and it was cool. It was inspiring for me to watch that happen for you, because I think it makes me right now, not having a job and not really knowing what's going to happen after the summer, after quarantine, all of it, I'm more open to just being like, it's okay, like we'll make it work. You're going to put in the work, something's going to happen when it happens. And yeah, I am just like, thank you for being so open, because I think, I wonder if I were in that position, I think I'd kind of shut down a little bit and kind of bottle that all inside. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you, Mama. You're welcome. But yeah, those are good resolutions. Did we all go? Who else? Yeah.
I'll go. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I'm just gonna focus on myself so that I have this time, because quarantine kind of extended this summer, and so it's just like started earlier, so I'm just gonna take this time to really just get in good shape and really just be the best version of myself I can be, which kind of sounds cliche, but I'm actually gonna put my best effort into doing it, because I don't have to worry about school or anything else, that comes along with that. So, and I know I'm not gonna have this much time again on my hands, so I'm really trying to make the most out of it, whether it's with the blog or whatever I want to do, like painting. Ideally I would have liked to take a trip, but Corona happened, so we'll see, maybe eventually. But yeah, just be me, be my best me, and unapologetically,
I love that.
you guys.
Yeah, I think that's something and even reflecting, going back to last week, what we talked about a lot, I think a lot of us have gotten just better at being the unapologetic versions of ourselves. I think we're all just getting more comfortable with the versions of ourselves that we graduated as, and just letting that version lead us into post-grad. And that's something I'm really happy about and grateful for, because I can't say the same about the high school me. You know what I mean? I don't think I don't know. I would have been better off if I was a more self-actualized version of myself. You know what I mean? So and that's what college is for. So I think we did good. I'm just proud of how far we've come, really.
I think we bring it out of each other too, because I definitely, even in the past 2 years, meeting you guys, I changed so much in a good way.
Yeah.
So
I think you're so welcome. And same. I think the people you surround yourself with have so much to do with your own personal growth and how you view the world and everything. And that could be for better, in our case, or it could definitely be for worse. So that's, I think, something to always be tuned into. And it really just affects everything. So thank you guys for being positive circle. Oh, it's just fills me with joy. I love you guys a lot. Okay, next thing I have on our agenda here. How have you / do you envision your post-grad life? Has this always been a certain thing, or has it been changing since you maybe moved to New York or in the city, blah, blah, blah? I have a very specific vision that I'm excited to share with you, because I don't know if I ever totally went through this all with you. So first of all, it's always been New York. That was just always, I wanted to go to college there. I wanted to stay there, especially now being home. That's more true than ever. What I would do to just go to Central Park is I miss it there so much in general. But I have this symbol in my mind of a blue apartment, specifically I guess a blue bedroom within a blue apartment, but a very I know the exact color. It's Benjamin Moore electric blue, and I looked that up because that's the color of Carrie Bradshaw's apartment in Sex and the City, which obviously it'd be so cool to be Carrie Bradshaw, except with better judgment. Besides that, it'd be cool to write for a living. That's one thing, but also just, I don't know. There's something about her apartment. There's the same color in To All the Boys I Loved Before. I don't know if that movie has a beautiful color scheme, by the way. There's so many movies and TV shows that I've noticed this blue color of the walls, and it just speaks to my soul. It sounds so weird, but it's so true. It speaks to I just love it so much, because, and I think I figured out why in doing this outline. I think it's just this unapologetic, like we were just saying, color. There's nothing subtle about an electric blue room. You know what I mean? You're not trying to apologize. You're this is me, world. This is the version of my life that I'm living. And I don't know, for me, it's always been I have this movie montage playing in my head of me moving to New York and getting to my first apartment and painting my bedroom blue, and just I've arrived. Now the new chapter begins. I just picture it so, I don't know. And I don't even like blue. I'm just so confused by this, but I feel it so much in my soul, and I can't wait to just go to a Lowe's and buy Benjamin Moore electric blue. I really can't wait.
I have something to say for you.
Sure, hit me.
My mom says that she wears blue on client calls, especially when she's meeting a new person, because blue is a sign of welcoming and trust. So I don't know, that could probably be something. Yeah.
That
cool.
Totally could be. You know what? Nora Doyle just did a thing on her blog about color psychology, and I haven't looked into it too much, but I think there's something so fascinating about that. And she does it in advertising, what color ads speak to a certain thing, and how there's so much strategy that goes into just the color scheme of a print ad. So it'd be cool to maybe I'll look that up and link that too, because that's interesting. Really cool. Look at Mama Spolds with all this knowledge. Really cool. I'm not even surprised that she knows that. Yeah, so for me, post-grad, the vision that I've always had, and I think will always have, is New York City blue apartment. Hopefully a beautiful walk up on the Upper West Side. But like, will I hit the lottery? I'm not so sure, you know? I mean the actual lottery. Like, that's not a phrase. Like, I mean, like, if I literally hit the lottery, then maybe I could do it. That's me.
With exposed brick.
Exposed brick, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
If it doesn't have it, we don't want it.
X. I love it. What about you, Em? Like, what was your post-grad vision? Like, is there anything specific or vague? Anything? Like, tell me about what you envisioned post-grad as.
I would have to definitely piggyback off of you with the New York City aspect. I think, I mean, going to Fordham, you're just kind of always drawn to the city in the first place, and you just fall in love with it even more, like living in there. But of course, like the Bronx is totally different than like, I guess, the actual city, you would say. So I definitely wanted to kind of get lower into Manhattan there. So now I'm in South Harlem, which is great, and I love it. But I think most importantly is just I wanted to be a strong, independent woman and kind of continue that feeling after college, because I felt very comfortable with myself, etc. And I know that when usually I am put into a new environment or don't really know people, I kind of resort to my high school self, which I never really wanted to do anymore. My high school self, I just was not comfortable with myself, like did not want to speak to anybody, and I just always second guessed myself. So I definitely just wanted to continue being that strong, independent woman. And with that, I also wanted to meet new people. And I still want to meet new people, but I've kind of realized that it is quite difficult meeting new people post-grad, just because people kind of do their own thing. It depends on like the company that you work for, etc. So I definitely want to try a little bit harder to make those relationships. But of course, like relationships like what I have with you guys will take some time. So I kind of have to realize that. And then I guess going off of that, it's just being like a good friend to you guys and always continue being that, like, I guess, role model, if you want to say, for you guys. Even though I'm just like a year older than you, I don't know. But just, I don't know, providing you support. So,
yeah. So much, Boldy.
Yeah. No, 1,000%. Like, you are, yeah. You're my lighthouse. Guiding me to the shore.
All right. Well, with that, I also envision myself living and working in New York City. Just the dream, like any montage, like you guys are saying, you can picture in a movie. That was it. Like the heels, like the strut to work, you know, the beautiful hair. Like, I don't know, just doing it all.
I feel it.
And being confident and the most successful I can be in whatever it is I do. And yeah, just living with my friends and living out the 20-something lifestyle where you're going out on the weekends and cooking dinners and going to brunch. So that's just it. That's the dream, my friends.
I love it. Oh, and I feel like I want it to happen so much, but I think the fact that it's kind of getting drawn out a little more than maybe we thought is just going to make it that much better when we get to it and get to like live it. We just get to dream about it a little more, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, I love it. This is all reminding me really quick. I want to plug a show. I know like we're not doing a whole content catch up this week because we like don't have time, but I need to talk really, really fast about this new Hulu series I started watching and already finished watching. Literally in one day, I watched all 10 episodes. It's so phenomenal, high fidelity. It's based on a early 2000s rom-com John Cusack movie. Is it Cusack or Kerouac? Wait, which one is the author? Which one's the rom-com?
Cusack.
Cusack. Okay, I guess I'm very confused. Sorry. John Cusack. And it was based on the movie of him. Now Zoe Kravitz is like the star. And it reminds me kind of Sex and the City because it's this like very flawed protagonist. And I only watched this because they talked about it on Girls Gotta Eat and they like tell me how to live my life. So like, thank you, Raina. Or I think it was Ashley who watched that. Anyway, so phenomenally good. And it's just like, it made me like, just ache to be in New York because it's set in New York and she's just like living her life. And I just want you guys all to watch this so we can talk about it next week, okay? If you don't have Hulu, I'll give you my
Okay, please, thank you.
I was gonna say, Rach, I think like you definitely inspired me with that idea of the blue room. I think for all of us, that blue room is kind of just like that quintessential New York experience, or just like being successful in New York City. So maybe that's what like you're going for with the blue
Yeah.
room. But definitely I think that inspired me. It's just like, okay, let's go after our blue room, ladies.
Right, like it's just a good symbol for like what we're trying to achieve. And I think it's just as much of a state of mind as it is like however you want to define success. I think so much of it is like how you're feeling and feeling like you're in the right place. And I think that's something that we all very much achieved at Fordham, and that's what made it so wonderful. And I think I'm really excited to find the next place that feels like home like that and feels like you're in the right place. And that's going to be the blue room. We just have to find it, you know?
Make it your Keating.
Yes,
Aww.
the blue room is, oh man,
Beautiful.
this is hitting me. This is beautiful. Oh my God, I really love it. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about post-grad because obviously it's the Hello Post-Grad episode, but a lot of this post-grad stress / excitement, because I think it always goes both ways, revolves around the job search. We all have varied experience looking for jobs, and there's no way it's not stressful. It just is, and it's something like a great equalizer. We all go through it. You have to. There's a lot of stress surrounding how you're going to support yourself, how you're going to get to the city you love, how you're going to get to that quintessential blue room, whatever that is for you. And I got the chance a couple weeks ago to read Alexa Schoen's book, Entry Level Boss. I was actually on the like influencer list for it, which felt so cool. I love that. It was only because I knew her intern, but like it doesn't matter. Influencer, I have arrived. Felt amazing. But I wanted to read a little tiny snippet that I wrote about in the review for the book to lead us into our BAB of the week, who is the author. Here is the quote. Entry Level Boss, the book, is the kind of self-help that solves a problem in your own life, yes, but beyond that, Entry Level Boss is the kind of self-help that makes you want to shout it from the rooftops to tell everyone else who might be struggling that there is an easier and more human way, and it will probably get you hired faster than you think. Essentially, in her book, Alexa just breaks down all the like dumb rules that don't really matter about job searching, whether it's like the language we use in our resume or how you craft an email after an interview, like a follow-up email. All these like really weird things that really just make you seem exactly identical to every other candidate, and how to kind of set yourself apart and be true to yourself and just make it a more human experience. Because at the end of the day, like a human being is reading your resume. So write for that human, don't write for like the computer, you know? So it made a lot of sense. And she also just wrote it in a really like cute way. It reminded me very much of like a Mindy Kaling memoir. I don't know if you guys read any of Mindy Kaling's books, but they're just like such easy reads because it feels like a friend is talking to you. So to get advice like that from an author who felt like a friend was like a really just like inspiring thing. It made me excited to like redo my resume, which is the sentence I've never said before, you know? So yeah, and so then I was looking more into this author because she just seemed really cool, and she talked about a few of these things in her book, but I want to give you guys the rundown for our BAB of the week, Alexa Schoen. And for new listeners who maybe didn't listen to that first episode, BAB stands for Badass Bitch.
Badass bitch.
It's a beautiful segment. I think there's so many badass bitches out there who are inspiring to us all. So this week's is Alexa Schoen. A little background, she went to Notre Dame, class of 2011, graduated with bachelor's in English, so I feel you, girl. Then she got her master's in performance, jazz vocals at Leeds College of Music. Cool. So she's just like an artsy, cool chick. Then she went on to be a freelance copywriter, which isn't exactly like what you might expect, but she was just kind of making her own path in the world and figuring it out. And she ultimately ended up in Berlin, which is where I think her truest BAB self comes through. So I'll tell you the story. This I got from her official Instagram, @Alexa Schoen. She wrote on May 3rd, 6 years ago today, this very day, I got off the plane by myself in Berlin. I had no partner. I had no job. I spoke no German. I had no friends. I had no visa. All I had was a fresh stack of business cards, full price tickets to 2 tech conferences, and a 6-week Airbnb booking. So like, dang, like that takes a whole level of guts that like I cannot imagine myself having at this age, at 24, like she was. That's insane. I can't even wrap my head around it. Like, what a badass, right? I can't get over it. Then she wrote in like the dedication to her book, which this is maybe my favorite part of the entire book because it just like inspired me in my very core. She wrote in her dedication, this book was written for the 24-year-old girl who decided to go start her life the way she saw fit. Look at us, honey. Look at what we did. Oh, don't you feel it?
That.
It makes me
I
want
want
to
to go conquer the world right now.
right?
Yeah. I want to
Like-
go move somewhere new.
Where you don't speak the language, just to say you did
Right.
it. Like, that is
Yeah.
so cool. I love it so much. And she just, I don't know, that's just kind of like, she's very spunky because I think you have to be to tackle something like that. And that's just kind of how she writes her book. Like, you do you and be unapologetic about it, and your career will just happen. You know what I mean? Because you're putting in the work and you're being true to yourself. So yeah, so I'm excited to talk to her, which is coming up very shortly, right after this little, I'll probably play our music right here, and then we'll slide right into my interview with Alexa. I'm so excited to chat with her. She's had such a fun week because her book was just released. When this comes out, it'll be like 2 weeks. So she's just had a ton of fun, and she's getting so much. She's #1 on Amazon book list right now, which is like insane. Like, it's so cool. So I'm so excited that she's going to talk to us. Like, that's just going to be really fun. But yeah, girls, thank you so much for doing this part 2 for the second time.
Of course.
I appreciate you for being here, and I'm excited about the future. I really am. And that's a cool thing to say because there's so many unknowns, but I really am excited. How do you guys feel?
That's the exciting part about it, I think.
True.
The unknown.
So true. Oh, girls, thank you for joining me. I'm excited, I don't know, for more episodes to come, for our future, etc. We're going to turn it over to Alexa now. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, thank you.